Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Pull up a seat, there's something unique. You now tuned into something you ain't know that you need. Let's talk about it with Brenda. This high level conversations. Engage the community and change the vibrations. No more casualty, no matter nationalities. Let's have real talks and cut out all the fallacies. It's hard to change the circumstances being negligent. Empowering the people, you could be the president. Let's start programs and reach all the youth. If history been twisted, we should teach all the youth. No more politicking, putting pressure on the politicians. We need legislation that'll change our conditions. Meet me at the round table and let's conversate. Make a plan to action, cause ain't no time to wait. Let's change the fate, cause it ain't no more go along. You can always tune in here to know what's going on. You got something on your heart, let's talk about it. You need to find a place to start, let's talk about it. Community and unity, let's talk about it. You got something on your mind, let's talk about it.
Hello, and welcome to Let's Talk About It with Brenda Coles. Welcome, and thank you for joining us on this beautiful Sunday, April the 28th. I just want to thank everyone for joining us. First of all, I want to make an apology for last week. I did a promo of a live show was being dropped, and again, I am continuously learning the computer age and my podcast show. So, and I'm doing it sort of on my own or with some guidance from my son. So we actually did a recording, but then I didn't actually drop it live. So just please forgive me as I go along with this podcast show. But you know what? I'm not going to stop. Mistakes and all, I'm not going to stop because it's not a time for us to stop, regardless. So let me go on. First of all, I am so excited today of my very special guest that I have. His name is William Williams, aka Brem. And most of you have already heard him because on my opening piece, Let's Talk About It, as you saw coming in, Brimlow wrote that song. And so I'm telling you, this brother is so talented. Now, let me just go back a little bit. I know Brimlow since he was a young, tiny toddler. His grandmother and I was best friends. Her name is Jean Akerson. I lost my dear friend of over 40 years. Over 40, and now when I think about over 40 years, it's actually closer to 42, 43 years. We lost her February of last year. February is Jean's birthday month and my birthday month, and so it has been very difficult. But you know what? Jean was such a strong person, and all and I call him Boo, but all his life, I have been knowing him. He had been in my space. He had been with me. He and my son around the same age. They are millennials, and for everybody that's listening to the show, let me tell you what's important. We need to start listening to the millennials. Okay, that age group was a huge age group that did not vote. So it's very important that we start listening to people like Boo. Boo is not just a fantastic artist in music and painting and drawing, producing, photography, but and working with our youth, but he's also been on the campaign trails. So he's been out there. He's on the ground. He knows what those millennials in his age group are saying, why they're not voting, why they're not mobilized. So this is the age group that we need to start listening to. And not only that, but this is the age group that needs to be reached out to more. So you know what? I'm going to say this for those that are, we got a lot of campaigning out there right now, especially here in the state of Virginia. You need to be reaching out to somebody like Boo to write your ads. Okay, give him your idea just like I did, and he wrote it. So I gave him a poem, gave him some ideas, and he put it out there. So that's what you need to be doing. So without further ado, Boo, welcome to Let's Talk About It with Brenda Coles.
Thank you for having me.
And I want to start with this week, Boo. Like I say, I've been knowing you, which is it's an honor for me to have you on the show because I've been knowing you all your life. I know your grandmother right now is smiling and knowing Jean the way I do, and as close as I was to Jean, and to the family. Um, I want to ask you as far as the work that you're doing and that I don't think people even began to understand when we talk about the amount of work that you do in writing and your rap and your singing and your art, drawing, your paintings. I saw all of that. So where are you right now with a lot of specifically, I want to talk about your paintings that I've always seen you do since you were a little boy. Where are you right now with that?
I'm right now, I'm doing a lot of art stuff. I just did an event for the youth. We had a youth paint day. So I'm just falling back in love with my art all over again. Like you said, I was doing it as a kid, kind of got away from it for a little while, but now just bringing it back and putting it into the community in a different way, which is fun for me. I also have a Mother's Day paint event coming up, so I'm just using something that I always loved and giving it to others now. So that's kind of
But,
where I'm at with it.
well, tell us the Mother's Day event coming up. Let's talk about that. What let everybody know about this Mother's Day event. You are and I didn't introduce say that you are out of Roanoke, Virginia. So let me be very
Yeah,
clear. But he travels. Okay. We'll travel.
that's right.
So, but you are to Roanoke, Virginia, in my home area. So, but let's talk with Mother's Day. What's going on with that?
Well, it's a Mother's Day paint and dinner. So we're gonna have canvases. We have the flyer where you can pick the canvas that you want. Bring your mother out. You have a relaxing day to paint. We also have music from Miss Bernadette Locke. She'll be singing live music, and you don't want to miss that. We'll have dinner as well. So it's just gonna be a good time to bring your mother out and just celebrate her.
But you mentioned Bernadette and her singing. You definitely want to miss that. For those that don't know, you hear Bernadette and her activism and what we do with families as far as civil rights, social justice. But to hear Bernadette sing, I call her the Aretha Franklin of Roanoke. Um, and you're right, you don't want to miss that. So you're talking about is there a specific age group? Or is this for everybody?
This is open to the public, all ages. You just want to come out, like I said, it's a family event, Mother's Day. So you want to bring your daughter out, you want to bring your mother, all ages. We're going to be at 3025 Frontier, Roanoke, Virginia.
Okay, all right, good. I'm glad you put the address out there. And so, of where you say, repeat the address again, Boo.
That's 3025 Frontier Road, Roanoke, Virginia.
Okay, all right, okay, and I want everybody to take note of that because let me tell you, when you take when you just said, Boo, about bringing out is that for all ages, but bringing out, coming out to an event where you can have a paint day that's relaxing, it's a relaxing having that learning how to paint, being able to do that with your mother or bringing your mom out to do that and not only that, but you having dinner. And then and
Right.
while you having dinner, you're gonna have music. You know, I'm tell you something. I had already said I was coming. I am going to be there. So, because I want to be there. Now, I don't know if Elijah is coming with me, hopefully. But because I haven't told him yet, but I know when I did see the advertisement that I said no, I definitely got to be there because I do need that relaxation of that painting and then mixing in with that dinner and then not only that but sitting back and listening to Bernadette sing. Oh, absolutely, want to definitely want to do that. Now, boo, I want to move on. I want to talk a little bit. I want to talk a lot about you because um let's talk about your the music and how you create because and I know I want to talk about your photography. I want to talk about I gave you a poem that Elijah wrote, and when I told you about thoughts on and why I wanted to do this podcast show, because I just want to get information out there for folk, because we're in a trying time right now. What was your process of taking that poem that I gave you and being able to put together the rap that you did? Because the poem actually, even though I gave you the poem is not the rap actually you did. The rap was actually on point and perfect. So what was your process in that?
The process was dealing with my producer and just finding trying to find the feel for the feeling for what we were trying to say. And once we found that, was trying to find the words and trying to find the words wasn't that hard. You know, like I said, you gave me stuff to work with. So understanding, you know, your point of view, where you were coming from, at that point, it was just about trying to create a soundtrack for, you know, a soundtrack for the voice of the people. You know what I mean? Which I feel like you are. You know?
Right. Yeah.
Talk about it with Miss Brenda Coles, you know. So.
Well, see, Boo, now you know me, and excuse me for keep calling you Boo, because you know that's all I've called you all your life. Remember his name is Brem, okay? Or William Williams is his birth name, but Bremlo is what he go by. Please check him out on Facebook and Instagram. Definitely want to check him out. But Boo, let me get back to that process, okay? As I would listen to you talk, it may have been a little, you say it wasn't that hard, because guess what? You've been knowing me all of your life. And so, I'm a civil rights activist. I remember when you and of course, my son Junior, we call him Junior, you, Junior, your brother Pumpkin, I drag y'all out on a campaign trail. And I had y'all all volunteering with me. So you already knew the kind of person I was all these years. So I'm sure it wasn't as hard once I gave you some of the material. However, we got a lot of people on the camp on out there right now that's running for office, especially here in the state of Virginia. And even when they start, and nationally when they start running, I am going to be challenging, especially these people in Virginia that are not reaching out to the millennials like yourself. I'm going to start challenging them to start pulling in people like you and doing these ads. So, and doing ads for them, so that they can start understanding how they're going to have to learn how to connect through music, like the music that you put out. So tell me, if for instance, if one of the candidates reached out to you to want to get an ad for you to record, what, just give them an idea, would that process be the same, or what would you be asking for? Just so that if somebody was listening, what would you be asking for to get that product off of them?
The process is pretty much the same. It's, I just would need to know, the information about them. Like, it's kind of like you, we've had enough conversations to know what you're about, what your mission is, what you want to relate to the people. So, like I said, the process would be the same for someone else that would want to get their vision out there. I just overall need to hear it, and I can have a conversation with you and get where you're coming from, and then just translate it over here and in a rhyme.
Right. Well, now, boy, I know that you have worked. You have been on the ground. You have knocked on the doors. You have got people registered to vote. I want people. I want those that are running for office, and anybody listening to me right now. Okay. What, you 37 years old? About 37, around same age. You and Junior, my son, my oldest son. I'm telling you. Okay, you've been on the ground. I know you work for. You was on Term of Color campaign on the state level. Oh, you've been on the ground on a local level. So, I'm letting people know that the work that you have done on the ground as a millennial, and the group, a huge group that did not vote because nobody was reaching out to them. Now, Boo, what have you heard or from from people on the ground your age of how they feel about this upcoming election here in Virginia. Have you heard anything? What are the talk? That, do you have any feel on the ground, because you are one of those, on the ground advocates that's been out there, not just rapping and putting out your music and doing, but you on the ground. What have you heard, hon?
I think for the people my age and my generation, it's more so about, I guess, what it's always been. It's just actually seeing the results, for us. The term, they say politics as usual. I think we're a generation that kind of got turned off from the politics as usual, and looking for it to be related in ways that we can understand, and people showing ideas that involve us as well. You know what I mean? And as far as being on the ground, I mean, that's overall what I hear. And when I've talked to people, they want people in those positions to show genuine interest in things that affect them as well. So I think that's kind of a disconnect. So there is engagement, but then there's the flip side where it's a lot of disconnect and non-engagement because people feel like they're not, their voices aren't as heard, or they're not as important, or the results don't reach them. You know what I mean? So I think
Right.
that's the thing about it for people my age.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, Boo, that was very well put. That was very well put. And and what I am hoping, I do know that nationally, being a part of other groups and organizations, I do know nationally, you got people that are understanding that grassroots people like myself, like you, that that's who they need to start talking to and listening to. Now, you got some, but you don't have everybody. Unfortunately, I do feel that here in Virginia, they are still just living in a bubble and they don't understand that, hey, just like what you were just saying, what our voices doesn't matter. Our concerns are not, doesn't matter. We're not being heard. We're not being listened to. We're not being included. So, and that's always a tough thing, especially for young people your age, because I guess I feel like, asking you as someone in your age group, when it comes to especially when you got people that have a lot of power when it comes to making sure that people like you in your age group, Black men like you in your age group, if something happens, who are we putting in office that's going to ensure that our rights are protected, that we're just not thrown into jails, into prisons without we being violated? Is that ever, if you ever heard of a concern like that? Because we already know that has already happened in Roanoke.
Right. No,
So
that's always a concern. I guess as a Black male overall, and some of the communities that we come from, but that's a change that we fight for, I guess, right?
right, exactly. That's a change because as we know, Bernadette son, you know, being treated like a dog for absolutely no reason, tackled by police for no reason, and thrown in jail and left there for a whole week for no reason. And then and like I say, but what they did not count on is that a mother and an advocate, community advocate, such as Bernadette and other people like myself out here, will not allow this to go unchecked. We will call you out. And so, and we will find the truth and we will put the truth out there, period. So, and it is always going to be a concern. Now, let me ask you this, brother. I want to ask you about, um, your photography. I've seen some of the great work that you've done in photography. Let's talk about your what's behind, what you're doing with your photography.
Well, the name of my company is Third Eye Vision, and I'm into photography and videography. So, if anybody want to book me for any events or anything like that, you can reach out to me on Facebook at Brem a different breed. But as she said, a photographer. I've been doing it for well over 10 years. Just fell in love with just imagery and just always had a vision and could see things that a lot of other people can't see. So, since I picked up a camera, I just fell in love with it, never put it down.
You know, um, when I know when your grandma passed, and I was there with the family, and so, and I know you was videotaping. And me and you had a talk about
Right.
your grandma, and because me and your grandma was so tight, and we talked a lot about everything. And so, but you was videotaping, and you was asking questions, and then when I saw a video that you put out this year, right at your grandma's 1 year, boo, I literally cried. I was so blown away by it. Just looking at that video that you put out and put the music behind it. What was your thought process on that, honey?
Just wanted to have something, have a memory that everybody can remember, because like you said, she meant a lot to a lot of different people, so it was just my way of having a memory that lasts forever, because her name definitely will last forever. And that's also a part of, the reason I got into photography, just to create memories never die. We may move on and, you know, but the memories that we have for one another, they're going to live forever. So that was my whole process behind it.
Oh, absolutely. But you know what? And like I say, I know Jean is I know she's smiling. I know she's happy. And if anybody know Jean the way I do, she kicking up a leg. So, when I think about it, sometimes I think about it, I just bust out laughing because it just, Jean is 20 years older than me. But we met when I was probably about 15, 16 years old. We worked in the same restaurant back home. It's a resort. And you would thought I would have never known she was 20 years older because your grandma was just she was just so, oh my God. I thought she was around my age. So, and she was just so beautiful. That's the other thing, her age, we don't, so, so, but I'm gonna tell you something. We just, after that first day, even not knowing at that moment how old she was 20 years older than me, it didn't matter. And and even right to this day, like I said, that's over 40 years. And even to this day, my other best friend, right here in Richmond, she's actually also 20 years older than me. So it's a great thing. And we've been friends. My other best friend right here in Richmond, Gloria, we've been friends for probably close to 40 years as well. So, that's very important to me. But, sweetie, I want to ask you, because like I say, I definitely want you to, be able to, talk about anything when it comes to your craft, your craft, especially when it comes, I know that Bernadette, and this is something I want to bring up. Let me rewind. Let me rewind of my thought. I know Bernadette, when I introduced, this was the funny thing. When I was talking about you, I kept calling you Boo and telling Bernadette, I got to introduce you to Boo. And Bernadette's like, okay. I like, you got to meet this young man. And so when I got the two of you over the phone, and Bernadette is talking to you, and then you like, oh, you know me as Brimlow. And they were like, "Oh, you're Brenda," because you have been on one of her events before. Bernadette has these fantastic events in Roanoke. Rather, it's but Juneteenth. She have Christmas plays. The work that she does with young people, it's amazing. When she have taken these kids, young people that would never be able to, that never left their communities before. This woman, when you say community, then this is Bernadette is community. And she takes these kids to DC. She takes these kids all over. She had taken these kids on a cruise. So Bernadette have done some magnificent things. So what I want to ask you, I know when I introduce you to you, talk a little bit about how that relationship between you and Bernadette have evolved, especially with the community arts reach of where she is the founder and executive director. How have that evolved with the two of you?
A constant involvement every day. I told Miss Bernadette she one of the hardest working ladies I've ever seen. It's inspiring to see what she does for the community, and what she does for the children. I mean, she from I always say, like, people ask me about my work schedule. I say when I open my eyes, I'm clocked in. When I go to sleep, I'm clocked out. And that's Miss Bernadette. It's like that's when you clock in, So the hard working woman is inspiring. She's a joy to work beside, and it motivates me to want to do more myself. So it's a beautiful
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, it is. And I think and that's why once again I am glad that when I introduced when once she realized who you were, that she took you and say, "Hey, no, you come on over here because we certainly can use that talent because that's how she is." And and I'm so grateful for that. And just to see the work Boo, that you have done with the young people, with the youth. I saw the pictures of the painting of the what you all just did over the weekend. And with the painting, and I mean, it really amazed me, and I'm just so happy to see that you are still using that gift and that craft that I've known that you had all your life. And so, but how can people, anybody that want to reach you, um, because like I say, you travel, but how can people reach you? What is the best way to reach you?
Best way to reach me is my social media, which is Bremlo, Bremlo, a different breed. I'm on Facebook, or my email is thirdieye Watcher, WATCHER at gmail.com. You can reach me at either one of those, or you can even reach out to Miss Brenda and say you wanna, use one of my services. I'm always available to help any way I can.
Okay, all right, definitely. Now, just real quick, I do know on Facebook, sometimes you do, you let people know that, hey, you get a free painting of a self-portrait. Tell me how that kind of work, when you're doing that, when you're doing those, giveaways.
That's when I do stuff like that. It's more so like giveaways, ways I can give back with my talent, ways that I could, you know, just give back to the community overall. And I actually think I'm gonna do one for Juneteenth. I'm gonna do like a free giveaway, something like that for Juneteenth event. I've been working on some stuff, so now that you mentioned it, I might give away a painting at the Juneteenth event. So come out there, see us, and it could be you.
We'll be putting all that information out about the Juneteenth event that Bernadette actually does every year in the park. Big event, a beautiful event. And so in Roanoke, Virginia. So we're gonna be talking about that. Now, but once again, what I definitely want, to mention something that really kind of just, we're talking about millennials today. I want the listeners to understand this. And we're talking about millennials like So, like Brem, someone that is, as an artist, a photographer, a rapper, a writer, a singer, and not only that, out here with the youth, out here campaigning, working on the ground, knocking on doors. Okay, have his pulse on the community for and with that millennial group, that's so important, that has been turned off because they have not been reached out to. Now, I want to challenge. I really want to challenge. I don't care if the primaries have not happened yet in January for the state of Virginia, for those that are running, you need to be reaching out, because you're bragging about how much money you raised, Abigail Spanberger. Okay, you're bragging about how much money you raised. Okay, reach out to Bremlo. Take some of that $7 million that you raised, and you put it into the youth and the work that communities are doing to make sure that our children are getting the education they deserve, and that they're safe, and that they're listening, and they're getting people like Bremlo that's in the community, that is a millennial, that is out here helping these youth. Give some of that money over there. Hire him to do a ad that will be able to, for young people his age, to be able to understand the language of where you're coming from, because you're not doing a good job at it. None of the candidates are doing a good job of reaching people. You're really not. And as a Democrat, it bothers me to my core that you are just doing such a poor job, and you're not even reaching out. You're not even trying. Now, and so I say that, Bremlo, and I'm very serious about that. I think that they're going to brag about how much money and put out how much money. That's the only time you've seen them, is when they want to brag about how much money they made. I don't care about how much money you made, because that money is not going to get you elected. Okay, it's just not. Your endorsements that you keep bragging about, not going to get you elected. I don't care how many pages of endorsements you got. It's not going to get you elected. What's going to get you elected is that you have the votes. And right now, if you don't have the votes, and as Bremlo clearly let you know, that especially for his age group, which is a huge age group that did not vote in the last election.
I just think it needs to be more like even yourself, just having me on your platform, just to speak and even give that bit of information from my point of view, or the grounds that I'm on. That's important, because it just shows that you do have a care for, how we feel, what we think, and what's going on, because that's what it's all about. It's like you got to connect it all. You can't leave anything out, because you're gonna be missing something.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And it was I had a phone call from out of Roanoke regarding, and this was a group of pastors that Mark Warner actually met with in Roanoke on last week. And the phone call to me was, why did he want to meet with us? What do he want? What is his agenda? It's bad. And why is he coming into the Black community now? I'm serious. When you have pastors that you're meeting with that have that questions to advocates like myself, and they want to know, is he running for governor? And I'm like, no, I don't think he's going to come off that perch. He's on that Senate perch. I don't know if he's going to come off that perch. He ain't doing nothing. He ain't doing a thing up there. But I don't think he will come off that perch. I kind of doubt that. But I don't know what his agenda is. He want to know what's going on in the Black community. Listen to your voicemail. I've called you and told you. So if you got to ask the Black community what's going on in the Black community, then you're not paying attention, or you're not even listening to your voicemail. So see, this is the problem, that we are having, that disconnect of what we're having with the Democrats right now. And so, and it's disappointing, because I am a Democrat. But guess what? You're not going to get votes that you don't deserve when you're not doing anything in communities that need for your attention, and then you ignore it, or you think that you are supposed to get the vote, or is it better get upon? This is what I don't like. They get other Black politicians to get them into a Black space at the last minute to try to talk to us. No, that's gone. We're not doing that anymore. Have you seen that before? Have you seen that before?
That's what they call us, politics as usual. You know, but now you gotta, as the song is saying, you gotta put the boots on the ground and actually get out there.
And that's what you know what? That's what needs to happen. If we can't see you, like you said, the boots on the ground, like that you asked us to put that boots on the ground and knock on the doors for you. If you can't get out there and put your boots on the ground and knock on the doors and talk to us, then don't expect for us to come out for you. That's as simple as that. But Boo, go ahead, sweet. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just agreeing with you.
Yeah, but no, I'm gonna and you know, like I said, we're gonna get ready. This has been good talking to you, sweetie. I'm telling you, I'm loving this, and you know what, I have, and I will. No, I will. Let me tell you that I have not yet, but I will be reaching out to the candidates, and I am going to ask them to come on the platform. And you're right, if they come on the platform, but bottom line is, don't give me no talking points. I'm not going to, that's not going to be talk. I don't want to hear talking points. I want them to be genuine. I don't want to hear no talking points, because that's what they do. They get on, they talk, they'll go to national stations. Oh, I see them do that. The ones that are friendly to them, that's where they'll go. But they will not come if they feel like I'm not hostile. I'm just real. I'm a voter, and I got a voice. Because
that's what the people want. People want a real conversation.
Exactly. When people call me up, every campaign, people blowing up my phone. Brenda, who do I vote for? Who do I vote for? Okay. So because they're not even sure who they need to be voting for. And that's okay. But at least they are making that effort to say, I'm getting out the vote, but who do I vote for? So when I get this every year, Boo, I really do, all the time, every campaign. And so, that should be scary to those that are running, that are not doing anything out there. But anyway, sweetie, let me say this. I want to ask you before we get ready, because I'm going to make a quick announcement. But Boo, is there anything you want to add, sweetheart, to any of the conversation we had? I'm glad you just on with me, talking about politics, talking about your photography, talking about your painting, talking about your music. I'm just glad that, it's like I said, you like my child, one of my kids. Is there anything you want to add, sweetie?
Not too much. I just want to say, if anybody need me, like I said, you can reach out to Miss Brenda to get in contact with me, or you can reach out to me through my social media, Bremlo, A Different Breed. I'm always in the community trying to do something. Like you said, we out there with community outreach, and we're just out here just trying to make changes, one day at a time, one smile at a time.
Oh my God, yeah, and you got that right. I love what you just said. One day at a time, one smile at a time. Because community, and when we're talking about working in that community like that, it's about hugs and love, and you're right. And that smile, oh, absolutely. This is what it's about. But I want to thank you. I want to thank you, sweetheart. Before we go, I have a very special announcement today. And I did make this announcement when I did not get the recording to work on last Sunday for Easter Sunday, but which I am I'm honored and to make this announcement, and I'm going to put a lot of information out and on my social media, and I'm going to talk about this from now until August the 3rd. So I have been Black Girl Magic. The Black Girl Magic Alliance. And I want to thank them for making me an honoree for Black Girl Magic. So I'm a Black Girl Magic.
like it.
I want to thank them. I mean, I want to thank. Oh my God, I'm very honored by that. I do want to thank because this is a great organization. This organization it is a scholarship gala that's going to happen on August the 3rd, and at the Hilton Garden Inn in Suffolk, Virginia. The Black Girl Magic Alliance founder is Latrice B. Carter. I mean, this woman is just, I mean, when I say this woman deserves the highest of the highest honors, she does. This woman, these events that she holds, honoring Black women, honoring children. She just had one for honoring the youth and their accomplishments, what they're doing in their communities, honoring men and their accomplishments and what they're doing in their communities. Let me tell you, everybody do not get these honors. And I am just, I'm happy and I'm so grateful and thankful. And, you know, and like I say, this is going to happen on August the 3rd. I would like everyone that, you know, that watches my social media, and I'm going to have her on the show to talk about this event. She just is just awesome. But I want to, you know, I want to encourage each and every one that if you own a business, and I'm going to be calling on you, if you own a business, there is a sponsorship page that you can get. You can purchase where you can get tables, where you can get seatings at the tables. You can get ads in the book. These are things because once again, this is a scholarship. This is going to students. Okay, as it is, we got HBCUs that are going to suffer next year because of this reckless person that we got up in the White House. I'm using reckless. That's not even a word. But let me go back about what has happened in our education system and in this country. We already got HBCUs going to suffer. So when we have someone like Black Girl Magic Alliance or organization like that gives back in these scholarships, then everybody need to understand you need to be there. You need to be there. You need to donate to the organization. Buy a table, purchase an ad. You can get full size, half size, your business card, whatever the case may be. But you know what? For those that are running for office, once again, I'm going to say to you that this is where your money should be going. If you're going to brag about how much money you made, this is where you need to be putting your money is back into places, organizations that would be able to give back to community. This is what it's about. Giving back to community. If you really care. So, but anyway, I'm excited. But I'm also will not continue the fight of the purpose. These are powerful and empowered women that is doing extraordinary things and highly deserve every every honor that there is that they are getting because of the hard work. This is not just somebody that's just getting. She's not just giving people an honor just to say I'm gonna give them an honor, and that's why I'm so honored that I was selected as an honoree. So on August 5th, I want you to please attend the Black Girl Magic Gala, a scholarship gala. And please put that on your calendar. We're going to be talking about that. You're going to be hearing about it. But I want to thank the organization for honoring me. Boo, Before we go, sweetheart, last words to you.
Last words. Peace and love. I thank you for having me. And once again, another one of the hardest working women I know. Keep doing your thing, and let's talk about it with Brenda Cole. Let's do it.
Okay, thank you, and thank everyone for your time, and thank you for joining. Let's talk about it with Brenda Coles. Catch me. Like I said, we're gonna have some live shows, but certainly catch me on next week on Sunday, and I'll see you then. Peace.